Hi, in this lesson we will be discussing the ways of calculating the gradient of any straight line. What is a gradient? Consider these two lines. Which one of them is steeper? Obviously, your answer is AB. AB is steeper than CD. So AB has a higher gradient. In other words, gradient shows how steep your line is. The higher the gradient, the higher the steepness, or the higher the steepness, the higher your gradient. That is the definition of gradient in terms of just quality. What quantity was, to give it a number, we define the gradient as rise over run. So the value of a gradient, so gradient is a number, and is equal to rise over run. Rise divided by run. We are going to explain this. By the way, we use the letter M to show gradient. But how do we find rise and run? What you do, you need to take 2 points on the line, 2 points on the line, and you start from the point on the left and then see how much you need to go across to get to the second point and how much you need to go up to get to the second point. How much you're going across is your run, and how much you go up is your rise. Let's look at an example to clarify this. Here I've got this line, this straight line, and I want to find its gradient. I take 2 points on the line. 1 point is that, 1 point is this. I start with the point on the left. This point is to the left of this point. So I don't start from this, I start from that. Because I start from the point which is on the left. Okay, so that's my starting point. And I want to get to the second point. I got to see how much I need to go across. As you can see, there are 3 divisions here. So I need to go 3 units to the right or horizontally. Then I'm here. So that will be my run. How much I went across is my run. Then I got to see how much I need to go up. Here I go 1, 2, 3, and 4 divisions up. So that's called the rise. So my rise is 4 because I go up by 4, and my run is 3 because I go across by 3. Then my gradient is going to be my run, which is 3, over my rise, which is 4. So the gradient is 4 over 3. Rise over run. Your rise is 4 and your run is 3. So rise goes at the top and run goes at the bottom. So the gradient is 4 on 3. Let's look at another example. We want to find the gradient of this blue line. Again, we take 2 points on that, which is easy to see how much we need to go across and how much we need to go up or down. Start from the point on the left. This is the point on the left. So we start from that. And then we go across. So we need to go 2 units across. And this time, rather than going up, we need to go down to get to the second point. How many of these divisions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we went 4 units down and 2 units across. This is our run. This is our rise. This time around, however, we have a negative rise because we're not rising, we are going actually down. We are not going up, we are going down. So that will be your rise will be negative 5 and your run will be 2. So the gradient is again rise over run. So you have negative 5 over 2, or you can put the negative just next to the fraction, doesn't matter. So your gradient becomes a negative number. So in other words, if your line falls as you go to the right, you're going to have a negative gradient. But if you look at the previous one, it was going up as we were going to the right. If your line goes up while you're going to the right, then you have a positive gradient. So that's the positive gradient, and this is a negative gradient. So positive gradient, negative gradient. Okay. Now let's look at another example. Unlike the other two ones, here we don't have the divisions given to us. But what we have the coordinates of the 2 points. This is 1 point. I can take this as another point because this is also on the line. This is the origin. And this is the point A with the coordinates of 2 and 3 lying on the line. Okay, again, this origin is my first point because it's on the left. I start from here. Then I go across. How much I need to go across? Because the x of this point is 2, so that means I need to go 2 units across. And then I need to go up. How much do I need to go up? Because the y of that is 3, so that means I need to go up by 3. So my rise is 3, my run is 2. Then the gradient is rise, which is 3, over run, which is 2. So gradient is 3 on 2. And example 4, again, I've got a straight line here, and they have given me 2 points on the line, and again, I don't have any divisions here. I want to find its gradient. To find the gradient, again, this point is on the left. I start from this point, I go across, then I go up to reach to the second point. How much do I go across? This time, how much I go across is equal to the difference in the x's of 2 points. What's the difference between 3 and 1? That is 2. 3 take away 1 is 2. That means my run is 2. So remember, run is the difference in x's, and rise is difference in y's. So this is the y of the second point is 5, the first point is 2. What is their difference? The difference between 5 and 2 is 3. 5 take away 2 is 3. So my rise is this difference, which is 3, and my run is this difference, which is 2. So you're going to have 3 over 2 as your gradient. And here we have two special lines. One is horizontal and one is vertical. What is the gradient of a horizontal line? The gradient of a horizontal line is always 0 because you have no rise. If you take any 2 points on that, if you go from one point to another point, you have a run, but you don't have any rise. So your rise is 0. And 0 divided by any run will give you 0. So just remember, any horizontal line has a gradient of 0. And any vertical line has a gradient which is undefined. So we don't define gradient for vertical lines. Vertical lines have a gradient which is undefined, or they don't have gradient. Again, to sum up, when finding gradient, start from a point. You can move right to get to the second point. So the first point has to be on the left. That's what we were talking about. If you move up to get to the second point, the gradient is positive. If you move down, the gradient is negative. And rise is how much you move up to get to the second point. And run is how much you move across to get to the second point. Thank you for paying attention.